Welcome back to another episode of Sound 101. I'm Andrew from Deity Microphones, and next to me, as always on these kinds of episodes, is Deity's Steve. And what kind of episodes are these?
These are mailbags.
So let's get started. This is a mailbag episode, which means you guys out there went and wrote us a bunch of questions that I think are definitely going to be pressing some serious issues.
Absolutely.
We're going to put up a meme real fast to show you how a horse wears pants, and hopefully all learning by the end of this one. So this first question comes from Chris at Dimwell. Chris is actually going to be the winner of our vlog because when we do these, we always make the very first question the winner. So congratulations, Chris.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, okay. If you could go back and work sound on any film set in history, what film would it be?
I wouldn't go back that far. I would choose to do sound on Mad Max Fury Road. From everything that we've read about the sound production on that film, it was insane. They had like a whole separate sound car, and they were driving alongside
it's like a minivan in the desert.
Yeah, and they had to keep up because they were wirelessly transmitting audio. They had to stay within range of this enormous caravan of insane vehicles that were on fire and everything. Also, because they were in this like dune buggy thing, all of the data storage had to be all solid state. They couldn't have any spinning discs. So just high stakes, but really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good pick. I would choose something from the silent picture era because I'm lazy and I could just sit there.
Sounds
and
about
they'd
right.
be like, "Are you rolling sound?" I'd be like, "Sound's not been invented yet."
Our next question comes from our good friend Gerald Undone, who asks, do you
Gerald
fancy
Undone.
yourself... Please don't interrupt. Do you fancy yourself a velour man or a leatherette man?
Well, here's the problem with both of those. Velour and leatherette makes a lot of noise on lavaliers, so I'm going to go with I'm a moleskin man.
The worst superhero.
Worst superhero ever.
This is actually a three-part question. Number 2, what is your favorite song on Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill?
Oh, that would be the title song, Jagged Little Pill. Absolutely.
Ironically,
And isn't it ironic?
that's not a song on that album. Number 3, have you ever put a lav mic on an animal, and how did the interview go?
I have, actually. You can actually watch it. It's a short film called Burbank. The dog on set was very skittish and afraid of my boom because I had a dead cat on it.
As you would expect.
So could not record this dog. He would run away from the boom. What we ended up having to do was put a lavalier on the actual collar, and then we had to tape up all the little trinkets and make sure they didn't rattle.
Trinkets?
Yeah, the trinkets. Next question comes from Sebastian, and he asks, how would you improvise a recording booth almost anywhere? And what does Christmas sound like?
What a wildly unrelated pair of questions.
Unless you're trying to record in the middle of like a bunch of pine trees.
Let's start with the improvised recording booth. I would say the two most important things are probably watching reflections and then isolating. If you're doing like vocals for a song, or a lot of the times even voiceover, you're not going to really want to hear the room.
Okay, so like instruments though, sometimes reflections are, wanted.
Certainly. Acoustic guitar, a lot of nice resonance and ringing in a room. Acoustic pianos also would sound nice in a room. But with a voice, yeah, you're going to do so much vocal processing that I think, especially in musical vocals, you'd really want to have a pretty dry, clean recording. The most common improvised recording booth is set up usually in a closet, honestly, especially because you can put coats and other clothes in there that'll dampen a lot of the sound, a lot of those reflections. Some people even put a mattress like up against a wall, and you can kind of create this little like corner vocal booth. If you have 2 mattresses, hang some clothes or blankets behind you. Another sort of more advanced method, but also very DIY, make a PVC pipe frame, like 3 feet by 3 feet.
Like a little cage.
A little cage, hang some moving blankets. Those can be really cheap at any of your like local hardware store. And that should take care of both reflections and then also give you a bit of isolation from the cars going by your apartment outside.
Very cool, Steve.
And as for what Christmas sounds like, there is a great video out there that analyzes Mariah Carey's infamous All I Want for Christmas Is You. And there is a chord in particular, they call it the Christmas chord, that, I don't know, it taps into some sort of nostalgia and bittersweet, happy, sad feeling that just
This video is
sounds
great.
like Christmas.
Was this that was Vice, right? Vice on the video?
Vox.
Vox?
Vox.
Okay, it was one of the V's. And what I've come to realize is sound designers for Hallmark films in particular will start to add like subtle sleigh bells and chimes in the background to kind of give you a note like, ooh, this character is actually Santa.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Gleb Suvorov. How do you make a backup or reserve record for dialogue?
Okay, so I think what he is asking really is how do you protect yourself when you're recording dialogue? A lot of recorders now have dual SD card slots, and if you do, use both of them. Because you can do a redundancy record to a secondary XD card. If you don't have that, right, you don't have that, some recorders even let you do a safety track at like negative 10 dB lower than the actual dialogue track. Like the Tascam DR10 does this, and a couple of recorders will allow you to do this. The F8 will actually allow you to cascade channels 1 through 4 down to channels 5 through 8 at a lower volume that you set. Another trick you can do is 2 hard drives. Keep one in the trunk of your car so it's not in your house. That way, you know, these are duplicates at all times, and like once a week you try to match them up for data. And that's always a good actually to do for whatever kind of project it is, sound or picture.
It's true. The more backups you have, the happier you're going to be. Better you're going to
Absolutely.
sleep. Our last question comes from Lucas, who asks, how would you mic an interview in an outdoor, noisy location with cars passing by, airplanes, people talking, etc.?
I would use a shotgun. And I would try to recognize where the majority of the sound that is unwanted is coming from, like the direction of that sound. So if it is as simple as there's a road and it's a highway and clearly the sound is coming from right here, I definitely would not be pointing the microphone at it. I would try to put my microphone 90 degrees at the very least to that sound source without casting a shadow. And at the same time, I would try to put it, if possible, to the back. That's where the maximum kind of noise reduction is actually this back area right here where it is just dead on the microphone. And that would allow you to really kind of record as much as possible into that vacuum kind of state that you're trying to do when you're on set, so that you can add all those kinds of noises back in post and bring them into the volume that you want.
And do you think there would be any opportunities for using phase cancellation?
Yeah, you could also, I've heard some people actually use 2 microphones, like a stereo pair, one pointed at the actor and one actually pointed directly at the sound source. And then what they'll do is they'll actually bring in that secondary recording that is just the sound source, flip the phase, and then bring the actual volume of that one down all the way to 0 or negative infinity, and slowly bring it in until they have now kind of started to do some active noise cancellation. This is kind of similar to what a lot of software does, where you like highlight the noise, but if it's a complex noise like a car driving by, it's really kind of hard to isolate something that is complex and active and moving in the frequency spectrum. It's not just like a low hum like a refrigerator. So active noise cancellation with the dual microphone technique can be done. It is much more advanced in post-production, and a lot of users probably won't be able to attempt it successfully, but it's also fun to play with. If you really kind of want to learn that technique, that's how you do it.
Awesome. That's super useful.
That wraps up another episode of Sound 101. But if you like this video, don't forget to like and follow and subscribe and the bell for notifications on the Deity Microphone channel. You can also find us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Now we're on TikTok, regrettably, but we're there. If you've got a question that you want Steve and I to answer, ask below in the comment section. We will try to answer that one in a timely fashion.
And you'll get a vlog.
Yeah, you could get a vlog. Yeah, I'm Ed from Deity Microphones. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.